Hi, friends. This is your pal, Scott Garibay. And today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. And I want to ask the question, what is Magic the Gathering? Okay. All right. So, wait, Scott, I can tell you what Magic the Gathering is. Magic the Gathering is a collectible card game. You can kick that noise to the curb. That is a bunch of nonsense, in my humble opinion. Let me tell you what Magic the Gathering is today, actually. Okay, so first of all, yeah, I understand why you're saying that, right? There's evidence to that leads Muggles to believe that, right? Like the uninformed believe that Magic the Gathering is a collectible card game. I don't believe it is. Okay, and we're going to get into it. So, but I understand why you believe that, right? And there's a little bit of evidence to that, but really, it's not. All right, what is it? I'm going to just jump right in. Okay, Magic the Gathering is Dungeons and Dragons canon, and every single Magic the Gathering card that is printed is simply an unbound page of the Infinite Dungeons and Dragons book. Okay, so let me explain this. So first of all, and that is its primary purpose. Like, yes, there are, at my friendly local game shop this week, there was an RCQ regional certification qualifier, regional championship qualifier, and a bunch of people got there and they played their game, silly little game, right? And everybody there doesn't actually know. Literally, the people who have spent thousands of dollars on it and who are spending the most money on it don't actually know what it is. It really, which is astounding. That is a pretty incredible thing. That is truly incredible. It is pretty amazing. Okay. All right. Let's get all the way there. Okay. So Magic the Gathering is now, and actually I believe this was true on August 5th, 1993, when the first Magic the Gathering card hit the shelf. I believe this was true then. It's more true today than ever. Okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, this is complicated. Okay? So stay with me. All right? And we're going to walk there together. All right, I'll take your hand. All right, here we go. So how is Magic the Gathering really simply the best way to understand this, the heart of Magic the Gathering is cards. That is the primary vector of Magic the Gathering. And Magic the Gathering is cards. But the correct way to understand this is that each card in Magic the Gathering is simply a page of Dungeons and Dragons lore, of Dungeons and Dragons rules, of Dungeons and Dragons canon. And most importantly, Dungeons and Dragons canon. Okay? Every single card, in my humble opinion. All right. So how do we arrive there? How could this possibly be true? One, I understand this is extremely complicated. Let's go to there together. We will literally talk it through. When, where, what, where, when, who, how, why, and the ramifications of this. Okay? All right. So we've already covered the what. What is Magic the Gathering? It is every Magic the Gathering card ever printed, in my humble opinion, is simply an unbound page of Dungeons & Dragons canon, rules, and lore. Okay? But most of all, canon, right? And I would say, and I'm going to just say canon going forward. When I say canon, that is rules and lore. Okay? Both. All right? Okay. All right. Let's keep moving. All right. Every single card ever printed with a standard Magic Gathering back is an unbound page of Dungeons and Dragons canon. This is extremely important to understand. So that's the what, okay? Where? In the United States of America, right? It does happen in other places in the world, but they don't matter, right? This is America. This is America, all right? And the other thing, and the reason why that's important is everything important that happens in America first and then gets copied in other nations. It's just the way it is. Okay. And also, it's important to understand this. Dungeons & Dragons is a American product, and Magic Gathering is an American product. So the where is America, the United States of America. All right, let's keep going. Okay, what, where, how? No. You know what? Let's do who first. Who did this? Two men. Peter Atkinson on August 1st, 1993. So what did he do? Well, this is interesting. He actually is on record saying before he released Magic the Gathering that he knew it would make millions of dollars. He knew it could make millions. He knew it could make millions of dollars if they executed well, if he executed well, right? And he said they, because he knew, it was going to take more people than him, right? So he knew it was coming, right? This gets really interesting. Okay, so Peter Atkinson, August 5th, 1993, releases Magic the Gathering. Now, how was it D&D canon then? Well, he intended it to be, in my humble opinion, right? He made Magic the Gathering in full knowledge of Dungeons & Dragons, right? And he was creating games specifically because his mind had been absolutely blown by Dungeons & Dragons. And so I believe what happens was he met Richard Garfield. He realized Richard Garfield was a world-class board game designer, right? And so what he did is he's like, I don't need a new board game. Nobody needs a new board game. We need a new type of game, right? And if we do this right, well, we're going to make millions of dollars, right? Now, I think Peter Atkinson knew right then, on August 5th of 1993, that if he was a millionaire, he could buy Dungeons & Dragons. And the reason why was TSR was weak, but Dungeons & Dragons was strong, right? And Peter Atkinson was absolutely fascinated by it. He studied at a myopic level Dungeons & Dragons. So did Richard Garfield. Richard Garfield was open. He said he put Dungeons & Dragons into Magic the Gathering from day one. Said that there were only the two biggest ingredients that helped him to create Magic the Gathering was Dungeons & Dragons and Cosmic Encounters, right? So Richard Garfield put Dungeons & Dragons directly into Magic the Gathering with the very first card, okay? Specifically from the mechanical perspective. Then, in addition to that, okay, Peter Atkinson was highly aware of the state of Dungeons & Dragons. That Dungeons & Dragons was outrageously strong. One of the strongest brands in the world, held by one of the weakest companies in the world, right? And that's okay. That's totally okay. And the reason why was it was held by Lorraine Williams. Lorraine Williams was this very strong businesswoman who knew how to create an intellectual property that was strong. How did she learn that? Her father taught it to her by creating the incredibly strong intellectual property of Buck Rogers, right? So she just took all of that genius and all of that determination and all of that courage and poured it into Dungeons & Dragons and made Dungeons & Dragons worth a fortune, right? Now, a lot of people get confused. They think she was a bad businesswoman because TSR was going bankrupt, right? Now, that was totally fine. TSR was nothing. It never was. Okay, this is the thing. When you make your cup of noodles, what do you care about? The cup or the noodles, right? The noodles were hot and piping. The Dungeons & Dragons always had incredible value, right? And Lorraine Williams made sure it was sound and protected, right? But she didn't care about the cup. She threw the cup out, right? A lot of people get confused and go, oh, TSR went out of business, so Lorraine Williams was a bad businesswoman. No, you can check that in the weeds, man. She did what she needed to do. She made Dungeons & Dragons worth a fortune. And that's what Peter Atkinson paid for. He paid $60 million for it when he bought it, right? And he held it for 2 years and then flipped it to Hasbro, the greatest guardian the game has ever had, right? Better than Peter Atkinson and better than Gary Gygax ever was, right? All right. So that's the who. So that's the who is Peter Atkinson. One more guy, James Wyatt, okay? James Wyatt crossed over what he did was critical. He took Magic the Gathering settings and made them canon to Dungeons & Dragons. First, he did it with Magic the Gathering set modules. He made Dungeons and Dragons modules out of Magic the Gathering sets, which were also Magic the Gathering realms. Okay? All right. Now, that's really interesting. So it's James Wyatt and Peter Atkinson. And, okay, we're doing good here. And actually, I think I've covered quite a bit. So, one, I'm going to break this up into multiple videos. The next one will be out within 24 hours. And so where we are right now, what is Magic the Gathering? Magic the Gathering, every single Magic the Gathering Magic the Gathering card ever printed with a standard MTG back, okay, is simply an unbound page of Dungeons and Dragons canon. Nothing more, in my humble opinion. Okay. That's what it is. Where is it? United States of America. Who did this? Peter Atkinson and James Wyatt. Okay. And we're going to cut it off there, and I'll continue to break down what is the question. What is Magic Gathering? In my humble. Okay. Every single word you heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider like subscribing and have a fetch millennium.